Hello everyone, myself Faizul Haq. I hope your UPSC paper went very well today. I am here to discuss the paper which was conducted by UPSC today. Along with my colleague, I will discuss all the questions, but I will be taking the economy sections. So first of all, let's see how many questions have been asked by the UPSC in this year economy. So let me tell you, this year they have asked 16 questions from the economy. Few questions were analytical, so you need to study thoroughly because these questions were analytical as well as conceptual. So mostly questions were from the banking, RBI, financial market. Let's see the questions and their probable solutions. I have tried to give you the best solution, but final answer key will be released by the UPSC, and as you know, this year they have deleted 3 questions. So let's hope we provide you the best solution. First question was regarding the investment. They have asked you what is alternative investment fund. See, there are 2 type of fund. One is traditional fund and another is alternative investment fund. So in traditional fund, generally we consider bond and stocks. So 1 and 2 can be easily eliminated. Alternative investment fund are those funds which are generally very risky and they have been pulled from the private investment. Generally venture capital, hedge fund, REITs, these are considered as alternative investment fund. There are many categories of alternative investment fund which I have taught you in the class also. So their alternative investment fund will be hedge fund as well as venture capital fund. So according to me, only 2 are correct. Hedge fund and venture capital fund are the alternative investment fund. So answer would be only 2. Now come to the next question. They have asked regarding the RBI. See, RBI is very important for UPSC. They generally ask question from RBI also. They have asked what are the sources of income for the RBI? Means from where RBI earn money. So RBI earn money by selling government bond and buying government bond. See, government bond are those bond which are issued by the RBI on the behalf of the government to raise the money for the government. So government bond are a fixed instrument bond. So by selling by buying government securities, RBI earn money. See, for example, if this is the government security of 100 rupee. So there will be an interest rate, for example 10% of interest rate. So whenever RBI will buy or sell the security, RBI will earn money from this 10% interest rate. If we take the 10% interest rate into picture. Next is buying and selling foreign currency. Buying and selling foreign currency also generate income for the RBI. See how? For example, when RBI purchased the dollar, it was $1 is equal to 70 rupee. But when RBI sold the dollar, it was $1 is equal to 80 rupee. So from here RBI can also earn money, 10 rupee. You can see that. Pension fund management, see, you can very easily eliminate this. Pension fund is managed by the PFRDA, not by the RBI. So you can easily eliminate 3. So this option can be eliminated. 1 is correct and 2 is correct. So this can also be eliminated. So we are left with A and D. So RBI also earn money by printing and distributing currency. See, suppose RBI print a currency having face value 100 rupee, but the cost of printing these 100 rupee is suppose that 5 rupee. whenever RBI will distribute or sell this face value of 100 rupee currency, RBI will earn money from here also. So according to me, the answer would be 1, 2 and 3. So this will be the answer. 1, 2 and 3 means answer D. Now come to the next question. See, this question was regarding the organizations which were in the news recently. So UPSC, there is a trend for the UPSC. They are also asking questions regarding the organization. Basically, ED was in the news. So there was very high chance that they will ask question regarding ED. So they have asked what are the functions and under which ministry or department this organization work. So Directorate of Enforcement, Enforcement Directorate. This is true. It enforced the Fugitive Economic Offender Act 2018. But the ministry is different. Directorate of Enforcement, ED works under the Department of Revenue, Ministry of Finance. So one is wrong. This one is wrong. Why wrong? Function is correct. Directorate of Enforcement, its function is to enforce the Fugitive Economic Offender Act 2018. That is correct. But the ministry which is given in this question, that is wrong. So one will be wrong. Second is Directorate of Revenue Intelligence. Directorate of Revenue Intelligence enforce provisions of the Custom Act 1962. This is true. Also, this works under Department of Revenue and Ministry of Finance. So this one is true. One is wrong and two is true. Now come to the third organization, which is Directorate General of System and Data Management. See, Directorate General of System and Data Management means this work for the data analytics of the government. Data analytics of the government. And this works under the Ministry, Department of Revenue, Ministry of Finance. And its function is the big data analytics. It helps the government to catch the tax evaders who are involved in the tax evasion or who are involved in the stealing of the taxes. They are concealing the money from the tax authority. So this Directorate General of System and Data Management, it carry out the big data analytics to assist the tax officer for the better policy and nabbing the tax evaders. To catch the or nab the tax evaders who are involved in tax evasion, they give the data analytics to the government, basically Department of Revenue, Ministry of Finance. So second and third both are correct. So here answer will be only 2. This would be the answer. Now come to the next question. This question is regarding Business Responsibility and Sustainability Report. See, this question can be done very easily by using common sense. See, read the statement. Reserve Bank of India mandates all the listed companies in India to submit a business responsibility and sustainability report. See, first of all, this business and sustainability report was given by the SEBI, not RBI. You might use your brain in the, your peripheral knowledge to solve the question in UPSC. It might be possible that you must not be aware about all these things. But by using common sense, you can solve this question also. See, listed company means it talk about the financial market, stock market. Listed company are regulated by whom? By SEBI, not RBI. So you can very easily eliminate this question, this option. And SEBI mandated the listed companies, top 1000 listed companies, not all the companies. It is SEBI's mandate for top 1000 listed companies to submit a business responsibility and sustainability report. So first option is wrong. Now come to the second. In India, companies submitting business responsibility and sustainability report makes disclosure in the report that are largely non-financial in nature. They are saying that what are the disclosure in this report, business responsibility and sustainability report. What are the disclosure? So this disclosure is basically related to the environmental, social and governance. Means these are non-financial in nature. They deal with the environmental concern, social concern and governance concern of the company. So 2 will be true. The answer would be B. Now come to the next. See, this question was regarding the income tax. The first statement is in India, income from allied agricultural activity like poultry farming and wool rearing in rural area is exempted from any tax. See, there is a catch in this question. Okay. See, generally agricultural income in India is tax free, non taxable. But this is very specifically given that allied agricultural activity like poultry farming and wool rearing, they are not considered under agricultural income. So they are taxable. So statement 1 is wrong. Now come to the statement 2. In rural agricultural land is not considered a capital asset under the provision of Income Tax Act 1961. This statement is true. In India, land is not considered as agricultural asset. If it is agricultural land, that I have teach in the capital gain tax also in the class. Non-agricultural land are not considered as a capital asset. So selling and purchasing of non-agricultural land is not liable under the capital gain tax. So second statement is correct. In India, rural agricultural land is not considered as a capital asset under the provision of the Income Tax Act 1961. So this answer would be statement 1 is not correct and statement 2 is correct. So answer would be D. D would be the final answer. Now come to the next question, which is very factual question and it was recently in the news. India has joined Mineral Security Partnership as a member. See, India has joined this in 2023. So that's why it was in news. So statement 1 is correct. This was related to current affair. India joined Mineral Security Partnership as a member in 2023. Now next statement is India is a resource rich country in all the 30 critical minerals that it has identified. No, this is wrong. India is not resource rich in all the 30 critical minerals which it has identified. There is scarcity of few critical minerals in India. So second statement is wrong. So second is wrong, so you can easily eliminate 1 and this one and this one. So we are left with 1 and 3, means C would be the right answer of this question. And recently Parliament in 2023 has amended Mines and Mineral Development and Regulation Act 1957, empowering the central government to exclusively auction mining lease and composite license for certain critical minerals. Is that clear? So this statement can easily be eliminated because India is not resource rich country in all the 30 critical minerals. By eliminating this, you can easily get answer and that is C. Now come to the next question. See, this year UPSC has changed this pattern, which is very good because this required very high analytical skill. They have given 1 statement and 2 reasons, and they have earlier they used to give 1 statement and 1 reason, and they used to ask if whether that second reason is explaining the assertion given in the question. But from this year they have changed this pattern. They have given statement 1, statement 2, statement 3, and now they are asking a different question from this. They are asking whether 1, 2, 3 are correct or not. So first you have to identify whether all the 3 statements are correct or not, and then you have to also give the reason to UPSC whether statement 2 is also explaining 1 or statement 3 is also explaining 1. Question was easy but a little bit lengthy. This was not a tough question. Question is very simple. I can explain it. See, as regard returns from the investment in company, generally bondholders are considered to be relatively at lower risk than stakeholders. See, there are bondholders and there are stakeholders. Stakeholders means shareholders who own share of the company. And the major difference between this bondholder and stakeholder is, in bond there is fixed amount of return. Fixed amount of return. A bondholder will get a fixed amount in the return, whether company is in loss or in the profit, that doesn't matter. For example, this is a bond of 100 rupee and this bond is giving 10% interest rate, and suppose that its maturity period is 1 year. So after 1 year, the bondholder will automatically get 110 rupees. It doesn't matter whether the company is in the profit or in the loss. That is the nature of bond. Bond always gives fixed amount of return. So statement 1 is correct. The bondholders are considered to be relatively at lower risk. Their risk is very low. But as when we see the shareholders or the stakeholders, so they own the share of the company. So share of the company means their profit or loss will depend on the profit or loss of the company. Depend on profit or loss of the company. If company is in the loss, then shareholder will also be in the loss. If company is in the profit, then shareholder will also be in the profit. So they are at risk. But bondholders, they get fixed amount of return. Now come to the next. Statement 2. Bondholders are lenders to the company, whereas stockholders are its owner. See, I have explained the concept entirely. Bondholders are the lender to the company. Bondholders purchase this bond and give 100 rupee to the company as a loan. But stockholders, shareholders, they are the owner in the company. They own shareholding in the company. If company is in the loss, then shareholder will be in the loss. If company is in the profit, then shareholder will be in the profit. Now come to the statement 3. Repayment purpose. For the repayment purpose, bondholders are prioritized over the stockholders by the company. See, bondholders will first get the return. After that, shareholders, stockholders will get the return by the company. So again, bondholders are in the benefit. So statement 1 is also correct, and statement 2 and 3. These two statements are explaining statement 1 very clearly, which I have explained by giving you the example. So according to me, answer of this question would be statement, let me see the question. Statement 2 and 3 are correct, and both of them are explaining statement 1. See, this would be the answer. Both the statement 2 and 3 are correct, and 1 is explaining the explaining the 1. Now come to the next question. See, this question can be solved very easily by using elimination technique. This seems difficult to you, but it is very easy question. Forget about statement 1 and 2. I will explain using this in statement 3. See, they are saying in this question that there is no regulatory body either to warn the small investors about the risk of option trading or to act on unregistered financial advisors in this regard. See, all of you have read about the functions of SEBI. There is SEBI to regulate the small investors, to warn the small investors about the future and option trading. Whenever you will start future and option trading in any brokerage app, whether it is Grow, Angel One, Zerodha, SEBI will give you a message that 90% investors are in the loss in FNO. Please be careful. So there is SEBI which warns the small investors about the risk of option tradings or to act on unregistered financial advisors. There are many YouTubers who are not registered through SEBI, but still they are giving advice for the investment to the investors. There are many Telegram groups. So SEBI also warn investors and act against those financial advisors who are not registered under SEBI. So if we eliminate this, that key statement 3 is not true. So you can eliminate this and this, and we are left with option A. Answer is 1 and 2. You can very easily solve this question. It seems a little bit lengthy, but question is easy. If you read the question carefully, you can solve the answer. Now come to the statement 1 and 2. India accounts for a very large portion of all equity options contract traded globally, thus exhibiting a great boom. See, this one is true. Indian share market, stock market is showing a boom. That's why there are many investors who are coming to India in greed to get larger amount as a return. So no doubt Indian stock market, though recently has been down, but it has come a long way. It provide a very good amount of return. There are many equity option contract purchase and sell in the share market in India. So statement 1 is correct. Even Indian stock market has grown rapidly in the recent past, even overtaking the Hong Kong's at some point of time. This was also in news ki recently Indian stock market has overtaking Hong Kong share market sometimes. But suppose if you are not sure about these two options, then still you can get the answer by reading this statement. This is how elimination technique work in the exam, and this can be done only with a comprehensive practice of prelims questions. Now come to the next question. See again that question which I was telling you, UPSC has changed the pattern, giving 3 statement and asking the answer कि whether remaining 2 statements are explaining statement 1 or not. So first statement is circular economy reduce the emission of greenhouse gases. See, what is circular economy? First understand the concept of circular economy. See, circular economy is a concept where products are used in a circulation. For example, if a product is now not in the use, suppose not in the use, then this not used product या wastage product can be used as a raw material to make another product. That is the concept of circular economy. If a product is no longer in the use, then that same product, instead of going into wastage, can be used to make another product. So consider, according to this concept, wastage will be less in the circular economy, less raw material will be needed to produce new product in the economy. So when less raw material will be needed to produce new product, wastage will be less in the economy. So this will reduce the greenhouse gases in the economy. So circular economy reduces the emission of greenhouse gases in the economy. Statement 1 is correct. Now come to statement 2. Circular economy reduces the use of raw materials as input. See, I was telling you the concept of circular economy कि once a product is discarded, the same product, instead of going into wastage, will be used in the economy as a raw material to make a new product. So second statement very clearly say that circular economy reduces the use of raw material as input. That's true. Less material will be used as input, and that also explains statement 1. Now come to the second. Circular economy reduces wastage in the production process. I was telling you that, see this, कि wastage will be reduced in the circular economy. So wastage will be reduced in the production process, less raw material will be used in the production process. So this will lead to the reduction in the greenhouse gases in the economy. So statement 1 is correct, and statement 2 and 3 very clearly explaining statement 1. Now come to the next question. See, this question was from the budget. This year UPSC asked very good questions from the budget. See, while reading budget, I was also telling in the class that there are 2 components of budget. One is revenue component and one is capital component. See, very clearly I have told in the class that capital component consider asset and liability. Means there will be impact in the asset and liability of government, then that will be considered under the capital budget. But when there is no impact of asset and liability, then that will be under revenue component. So capital component means there will be impact on the asset and liability of the government, and the revenue component means there will be no impact on the asset and liability of the government. Now what comes under the capital component? See, capital receipt create a liability or cause a reduction in the asset of the government. Capital component create a liability. See, understand the concept of liability first, then you will be able to solve this question. Liability means you owe something to others and you have to pay in the near future. If you owe something to others and you have to pay something in the near future, suppose loan. If you have taken loan, then you are liable to pay the principal amount as well as interest in the near future. So this is a liability on you. So if a government has taken loan, that comes under the capital receipt. So capital receipt will create a liability. Suppose government has taken loan, so government owe to return this loan. So this will create liability. And again, capital receipt also led to reduction in the asset of government. How? Let me explain you. Disinvestment is a capital receipt. I have explained, if government has taken loan, so this will create a liability on the government. Government will have to pay that loan with principal amount as well as interest. Then it creates liability. Capital receipt create liability on the government. How it led to reduction in the asset of the government? See, for example, disinvestment. Suppose that let's take the example of Air India. Air India was an asset for the government, but when government led to the privatization or disinvestment of the Air India, this reduced the asset. Earlier, Air India used to be the asset of the government of India, but after disinvestment or the privatization, Air India as an asset for the government has reduced. Now Air India is no more an asset of the government. So government by selling or by privatizing Air India will get something. Asset means you will get something in return, and liability means you will give something to someone in the near future. If you owe something to the someone, then it is liability, and if you are expected to get something, then it is asset. So capital receipt means asset of the government will reduce as well as liability of the government will increase. You can very clearly see the examples. Now come to the second. Borrowing and disinvestment are the capital receipt. I have explaining this to you. Borrowing means government has taken loan, that is capital receipt, and disinvestment very clearly you can see with the example of Air India. So 1 is correct, 2 is correct. Now there is a glitch. Interest received on the loan create a liability on the government. That's why I emphasized always in the class that there is difference between the interest received and loan. See, if you give loan to someone, then it will be asset for you. If government of India give loan to someone, then it will be asset for the government of India. Why? Because in near future, government of India will get something in return. But suppose government of India has received the loan on government of India has received the interest on the loan, then it doesn't create a liability of the government, because it was the interest which was due for the government. Government was supposed to get a return as interest for the loan which government has disbursed. So interest received on the loan, this comes under the revenue receipt, not capital receipt, because it doesn't impact the asset and liability of the government. So if it is not impacting asset and liability, then it's come under revenue receipt. So here only two statements are correct, statement 1 and statement 2. So let me see what would be the answer. Answer would be answer would be 1 and 2. Now come to the next question. See, this year they have given you the concept, given you the numerical to solve in the paper. This was supposed to a question in the CSET, but they have given you to solve the numerical in paper 1 also. Unexpected from UPSC, they can ask you anything. But it was very simple question, but a data was missing in this question according to me. According to me, this question, in this question, they have given you the data. Revenue expenditure is given. See, revenue expenditure is given as 80,000 crore rupee. Revenue receipt is also given as 60,000 crore rupee. Government borrowing is also given as 10,000 crore rupee, and interest payment is also given as 6,000 crore rupee. See, now they have asked you the concept, what is the revenue deficit, what is the fiscal deficit, and what is the primary deficit. See, revenue deficit can very easily be find out from these given data. Why? Because revenue deficit means revenue expenditure minus revenue receipt. So revenue expenditure is 80,000 and revenue receipt is 60,000. So if you minus this, then you will get as revenue deficit 20,000 crore rupee. Clear? But for finding out the fiscal deficit, we need total expenditure of the government. And here in this question, total expenditure is not given. I could not find the total expenditure. Total expenditure means revenue expenditure plus capital expenditure, both. That is total expenditure. So finding fiscal deficit, for finding out fiscal deficit, we need total expenditure. Total expenditure means revenue expenditure as well as capital expenditure. But I could not found here what is the capital expenditure. So this is a doubtful question for me. Now come to next question. They have given you a simple data and asking what is the fiscal deficit. What is the gross primary deficit? So gross primary deficit, there is a simple formula, that is fiscal deficit minus net interest liability on the government. So they have given you data that fiscal deficit stands at 50,000 crore rupee. So fiscal deficit is 50,000 crore rupees and interest liability on government is 1500 crore rupees. So you can apply this formula and get the answer, that is 48,500 crore rupee. So A would be the answer according to me. Now come to the next question. Question number 76. I am discussing set B. If you are not knowing this, there is a simple question. It seems a little bit lengthy, but it is very easy and can very easily solve by using elimination technique. Forget about all the statements. Just you have to read in the exam, not forget about all the statement. Read question number 2. Statement number 2. Statement number 2 says that they are asking the question with reference to, with regard to the 15th Finance Commission of India, which one of the following statements are correct? So first statement, given data. Again in second, third statement, given data. Focus, you might not be able to recall and learn all these data in the real exam, but there is a hint in this question. By using that hint, you can easily solve that question. First statement is, it has recommended grants of 4,800 crore from the year 2022-23 to the year 2025-26 for the incentivizing state to enhance educational outcome. Very honestly speaking, I am also not aware about this fact. and that is not a bad thing. You are not supposed to know all the facts to qualify UPSC prelims. But second statement is very common. 45% of the net proceed of union taxes are to be shared with the state. This is very common statement. The net taxes which union government is needed to share with the state is 41% according to 15th Finance Commission. By reading this, you can very easily eliminate the questions. Second is wrong. So second is here, and second is here. So we left with option 1, 3 and 4. So according to me, C would be the correct answer of this question. This can be solved by using elimination technique. You are not supposed to learn all these data. Even I am not aware about this data and this data. But I am aware about this data. And by using this, you can easily solve. So UPSC is all about your psychological game. Clear? Now come to the next question. That is regarding the IBRD. See, while teaching in the class, I have told multiple times what is the name, why the name of IBRD? International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. I always explain this by using World War II. See, after World War II, there were two events that were happening in the world history, world economy. There was destruction in Europe, and second one, newly independent countries. Newly independent countries. See, one of the cause of World War II was also economic cause and absence of international bodies to regulate the economic affairs, international economic affairs. So after World War II, a conference was held in the Bretton Woods in the USA, named Bretton Woods Conference. So what was the idea behind this conference? Idea behind this conference was to reconstruction of the countries which were destroyed in the World War II in the Europe, as well as newly independent countries. There were increase in the newly independent countries due to the decolonization. So due to decolonization, newly independent countries were emerging. So they need loan for their development, and European countries which were destroyed, they need reconstruction. So European countries were in the need of reconstruction. So they wanted money, they wanted loan, and newly independent countries wanted to be a developed country. They wanted loan for their development. That's why the name is International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. Reconstruction of whom? Reconstruction of countries destroyed in the World War II in the Europe. And development for whom? Development for newly independent countries. So International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, it provides loans and guarantee to middle income countries, means developing countries, give loan for their development. It works single-handedly. That is the catch. You can also eliminate by using this single-handedly to help the developing countries to reduce the poverty. Single-handedly means all alone. There are many institutions who are working to reduce the poverty in the developing countries apart from the World Bank, IBRD. So this statement is wrong. If you eliminate option 2, so this can be eliminated, this can be eliminated, and this can be eliminated. We left with the 1 and 3. But I have told you the entire concept behind the IBRD, why the name IBRD and what are the functions of IBRD. It was established to help the Europe rebuild the world after the World War II. See, I have explained this very clearly in the class also. International Bank for reconstruction of those countries which were destroyed due to the World War II in the Europe, and loan to the middle income countries or newly independent countries for their development. That's why name International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. Now come to the next question, that is about RTGS and NEFT. RTGS and NEFT is very common. RTGS means real time gross settlement. See, name itself say that real time settlement, real time gross settlement. Real times means immediately. While NFT, National Electronic Fund Transfer, it takes some time to settle payment. See, the name itself says real time gross settlement, means gross settlement will be done on the real time, as soon as possible. When there will be transaction, there will be immediate settlement. So statement 1, the settlement time is instantaneous. In RTGS, that is true. Whereas in NFT, it takes some time to settle the payment. That is also true. So statement 1 is true according to me. Now come to the next statement. RTGS customer is charged for inward transaction. Do you know the meaning of inward transaction? Inward transaction means if someone has sent you money using RTGS, then one who is receiving that transaction, that money, will be charged. No, that is not true. According to RBI, a customer cannot be charged money while receiving the money from any transaction, whether it is RTGS or whether it is NEFT. So statement 2 is clearly wrong. Now come to the statement 3. Operating hours of RTGS restricted on certain day, while NEFT this is not true. For both RTGS and for both NEFT, they operate 24/7. All the day, even including holidays also, they operate. So statement 1 is correct. Statement 2 and statement 3 is not correct. So answer would be A, only one. Now come to the next. See, this was in the news also. In how many countries amongst the above are there other than India which where international merchant payment are accepted under UPI? UPI means Unified Payment, which you use to transfer the money. For example, we are using UPI to transfer money. So how these UPI, in how many countries these UPI are used to transfer money? So answer of this question would be only 3 countries are there in this given option. There are other countries also, but only 3 countries, that is United Arab Emirates, France and Singapore. Germany and Bangladesh is still not accepting the money through UPI. See, you can easily eliminate the Bangladesh because we have not a good cordial relation with the Bangladesh. But this is factual question, and this was in the news in the current affair throughout the year. In how many countries UPI has been accepted? So this is all about the questions which have been asked in the UPSC.